It's story time. It's story time. Come on, gather around because it's story time. Welcome to the story time with me. We're gonna read books. We're gonna have some laughs. We're gonna smile today. We're gonna have a lot of laughs because it's story time with Nina. Story time with Nina. Story time with Nina. Story time with me.
Hello and welcome to a very special story time with Nina. I am thrilled to be here with you tonight. Tonight is a very special occasion as we are here live with you talking about the life and the legacy of one very special person named Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm so excited that you're all here and joining me tonight. It's really a pleasure to be able to do this. First and foremost, my name is Nina. What is yours? I can't wait to say hi to everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Trish. It's nice to see you. And Corey and Mark, it's good to see you again. Hello, Smith family from Oklahoma. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Smith family. Hello, Eli and Amy. And hello, Sam from Western New York. Thanks for joining us. And of course, Meg. I'm so thrilled you're here. And of course, I think I see Roberto, an Italian from Portugal. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Bella, even though it's midnight across the pond. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm, of course, wearing my standard story time with Nina gear for this special story. Thank you, Betty, Kat, and Mom and Dad for joining me as well as Evan and Leo and Allison and Johnny and Sawyer from Columbus. I'm just so thrilled everyone's here. Hello, Evan and Leo and Jace and Rosie and Livy. This is just so exciting. I'm so excited you're all here. And hello, Seattle. And I just really want to take a moment to just thank you all for joining us for this very special occasion. Tonight, you're probably wondering if you're a little one, you're like, whoa, what's this? What's the big deal? I'm really excited to share what the big deal is. A lot of us are very sad at the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also known as the notorious RBG. Oh, there she is right there. RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was a justice on the Supreme Court of the United States of America, and she made a very big impact on all of our lives. She helped make the laws very, very special and unique and cater to make sure that everyone received equal, fair, and just treatment. Tonight, we celebrate her legacy and her passing by reading a very special book called Dissent. Ruth Bader Ginsburg makes her mark. Thank you for joining me for this very special story time. If you have questions, post them in the comments. Perhaps we can try to get to those. But tonight, again, in this very special story time, it's all about celebrating the legacy of this spectacular woman, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, as I always like to say when we have story times, if this is your first story time, welcome. I hope you'll come back for many more. If you go on my YouTube page, we have plenty of story times waiting just for you to have an adventure with me. But tonight, our adventure is about celebration. Life and death are two things that we all will experience. And we're all touched by the life of this incredible person, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I think many of us are saddened by this incredibly sad passing. So tonight, we lift up her spirit and her name and celebrate Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Dissent. Ruth Bader Ginsburg makes her mark. You could say that Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life has been one disagreement after another. Disagreement with creaky old ideas, with unfairness, with inequity. Ruth has disagreed, disapproved, and differed. She has objected. She has resisted. She has dissented. Disagreeable? No. Determined? Yes. This is how Ruth Bader Ginsburg changed her life and ours. And if you look at this picture, you can see all of you at home joining me. You can see little Ruth Bader Ginsburg here on this page. learning and growing into herself, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice of the Supreme Court, standing there, and one of these wonderful things she's celebrating, being able to use her voice and her power. That was an incredible thing that she taught me, how to use your voice and how to speak up. In 1940, Little Ruth's neighborhood was vibrant with immigrants, people from Italy, Ireland, England, Poland, and Germany. Jews from Russia, like Ruth's father, Nathan Bader. People from different cultures with different holidays, foods, and traditions. But in all these families in Brooklyn, New York, and in families everywhere, one thing was the same. Boys were expected to grow up, go out into the world, and do big things. Girls? Well, girls were expected to find husbands. But luckily, Ruth's mother disagreed. And look, you can see the street of this city here in Brooklyn, New York, and you see Ruth's mom, and Ruth's mom is carrying books. One of my very favorite things in the world are books. Books teach us so many different things, and they allow us to have so many different thoughts and feelings and connect to other people from all over the world, and they teach us incredible things. And you can see Ruth's mom values a book and what is inside of it, the knowledge that there is to be taught from a book. And you can see all these wonderful people on this street and all these different cultures, right? In this experience, we see people from all over the world now living in Brooklyn. How wonderful. Page turn. Now, Celia Amster Bader thought girls should also have the chance to make their mark on the world. So she took Ruth to the library. On the shelves were stories of girls and women who did big things. Ruth read about Nancy Drew, girl detective. She discovered Amelia Earhart, daring aviator. She learned of Athena, goddess of Greek myths. Here were independent girls and women taking charge. Ruth read her way into this world. Yes, Ruth read her way into this world. Around her, the sweet scent of books blended with savory aromas from the Chinese restaurant downstairs. Delicious. A girl could be anything. Look at this, and you can see in this drawing, what do you see in the picture? I see women doing anything and everything they put their mind to, because women can do anything that men can. We see Athena, and we see Amelia Earhart. This is amazing. And have you ever taken the chance to stop and smell a book? Books have such distinct scents that they help you. When I smell a book, I'm like, I remember exactly what I was thinking about when I was reading that one page on that one book. It just smells so great. And then you put it with like Chinese food. Oh my gosh. What an incredible opportunity to celebrate and learn. Now, sometimes Ruth and her parents took car trips out of the crowded city of Brooklyn. As they drove past a hotel in Pennsylvania, Ruth saw a sign, and that sign said, "No dogs or Jews allowed." That doesn't seem very nice at all. And this shaped and changed Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But this is how it was in those days. Hotels, restaurants, even entire neighborhoods announcing, no Jews, no colored, no Mexicans, white only, not welcome, not allowed, forbidden, no. And you can see in this illustration how awful it must have been to be Ruth driving through this town, not having seen anything like this before, coming from Brooklyn to these neighborhoods that were not welcoming or affirming. As you see, Ruth and her family were Jewish. This was prejudice, pure and simple. Now, it was Ruth's turn to disagree. She disagreed by never forgetting how it felt to read such words. She never forgot the sting of prejudice. Can you think about what that might make you feel like if you were to go someplace and you were to see a sign that might say something to tell you that you were not welcome or you were not allowed, that you didn't belong? It wouldn't feel very good. But I know when I see this and I read this, I'm very thankful that someone like Ruth Bader Ginsburg saw this and said, no, I don't agree with this, and I want change. So in elementary school, yes, we're going to go all the way back to elementary school. In elementary school, Ruth was excellent in some classes and less excellent in others. Her favorites were English, history, and gym. In those, she did really well. But then there was handwriting. Ruth was left-handed, and back then, teachers told left-handers that they should try to write with their right hands. Well, that seems counterintuitive. That doesn't seem to make any sense. Ruth's right-handed penmanship was so bad, she earned a D on her penmanship test. And you know what? She cried. Look, you can see she's practicing and trying. She's trying to get the penmanship right. She's trying to make it happen. But then, you know what she did? She protested. Yes, she did. Ruth protested by writing with her left hand from that day forward. And it turned out she had quite nice handwriting when she used the hand that she could write with. Sometimes you can't listen to other people. She protested. Ruth also had a little problem with sewing and cooking. These were her least favorite classes, but girls had to take them. Boys took shop, where they worked with saws and other tools. And look, as you can see in this illustration, look at Ruth's cake. She objected to having to take sewing and cooking. She wanted to take shop. She wanted to handle a saw. She didn't get what she wanted. It may have been unfair to girls and to boys, but Ruth was learning that sometimes life was like that. Ruth was learning that sometimes life was not fair. Ruth objected. Ruth objected. Now, Ruth loved music. She especially loved opera. Oh! Can you sing your opera voice with me? Oh! Yes, Ruth loved opera. In music class, she lifted her voice in song. And you can see that in the illustration. Look at her singing. Ah. Can you do an imitation of our friend Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Ah. This time, it was Ruth's music teacher who objected. Gently. Ruth simply could not carry a tune. No. The teacher asked Ruth not to sing out loud in the chorus. Ruth kept on singing, though. In the shower, in her dreams, she continued to adore opera, too. Here's a really great lesson as I get ready to turn this page. What I'm learning from the story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg is that it's really important that we listen to ourselves, right? Ruth could write with her left hand, not her right. Her teacher told her to write with her right hand. That doesn't seem to make any sense. And Ruth still, the teacher might not have liked her voice, but you know what? She still sang. Singing is something she loved to do, and she loved opera. She knew herself better than most people could tell her who she was. That's an important lesson, I think. So by the time that Ruth was in high school, friends and teachers knew her as an outstanding student, a baton twirler, a cello player, and a newspaper editor. As graduation approached, Ruth was chosen to make a speech at a ceremony, but she had been keeping a very big secret. Her mother was very sick. The day before Ruth's graduation, Celia Bader died. And you can see in this illustration, you can see this picture of Ruth's mom and all the love of music in the home and the piano and the cello. And you can see Ruth and her father sitting on the couch. and the illustration behind them of people graduating. But Ruth didn't get to celebrate that day. There was no agreeing with this. There was no disagreeing. This simply was what it was. Ruth did not go to her graduation. She did not give a speech. Still, Ruth knew that her mother wanted her to. So 3 months later, she left home to attend college. Well, this is an interesting development. I'm excited to see what happens when Ruth Bader Ginsburg goes to college. Now, this is very important. Not many girls went to college in the 1950s. But Ruth made friends, but she also met girls who excluded Jews from their clubs. She met boys who thought girls should be looking for husbands rather than there to study. And then she met Martin Ginsburg. Marty was tall and he was funny. Ruth was small and she was serious. Marty could make her laugh. They fell in love and hatched a plan. After college, they would go to law school, both of them, lawyers. Ruth had learned, could fight unfairness, and she could even fight prejudice in courts. Ruth was a force. People thought it was a fine idea for Marty to attend law school, but they didn't think it was a very good idea that Ruth should go. A lady lawyer? People disapproved. But you know what? Our hero, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, disapproved right back. And so did her boy, Marty, who would soon become her husband. I'm skipping a couple pages. Oh, spoilers. Okay, so get this. You won't believe it because I just told you. But Ruth and Marty got married. Those are wedding bells. They got married. And they went to law school despite what everyone had told them not to do. And they had a baby named Jane. And you can see this. They're both taking care of their baby Jane, and they're both studying so hard for law school and helping one another out. Marty was being an awesome dad to Jane and allowed Ruth to study and gave all of these wonderful things to grow together to create a family and to create opportunity so both of them could succeed and achieve their dreams. That sounded really cool to me. Pretty wonderful partnership. Back to the story. Ruth's law school class had a total of 9 women and 500 men. Whoa! 9 women and 500 men? She studied mightily and tied for first place in her class. And yet at graduation time, no one would hire this brilliant lawyer. But why not? Because she was a woman. Men didn't want to work with a woman. She was a mother. Men thought that a mother wouldn't pay attention to her work. She was Jewish. Many people were, and still are, prejudiced. 3 strikes against her. But you know what? Ruth was not out. She resisted. And she persisted. Look at this before I read that other page. Look at that. Her sitting amongst all of those men saying, no, no. Just like she told her teacher, just like she told her music teacher, she was not going to be defined by what they wanted her to do. She resisted and she persisted. Finally, a judge hired her and she worked like mad for him. After that, one law school hired her too, and then another. Ruth became one of the few female law professors in the whole entire country. And she did it with a new baby at home named James. What? I challenge any man to do that. Ha! Amazing. Page turn. Now, Ruth had disagreed and worked her way into being a lawyer and a professor. But around her, other women were excluded from jobs. When they got jobs, they earned less than men, and they still do, mind you. They were kept out of important roles in courts and government, and they still are, mind you. To make matters worse, the Supreme Court of the United States, the highest court in the land, approved all of this. As one Supreme Court justice had written many years before, "The natural and the proper timidity and delicacy which belongs to the female sex evidently unfits it for many of the occupations of civil life." That's a stuffy old white man voice. You're welcome. In other words, women and girls were too shy and too weak to do big things in the world. Another Supreme Court justice opinion declared, "Women and woman has always been dependent upon man. Woman has always been dependent upon man." Sounds like a Dracula voice. That man sounds awful. Now, you know what, though? This fired up our Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and you know what she said? She said, no way. Ruth really, really, really disagreed with this. And thankfully, she did. What do you notice about this illustration? You know what? I want to point out that I see a really powerful, wonderful, smart, determined woman. Little did she know at that time how much she would change all of our lives. So Ruth, you know what she did? She said enough is enough because she was so upset by all of this. She went to the court to fight for equal treatment of women. The most important cases went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, for everybody at home, the Supreme Court is the most powerful court in the land. And people sit there and they hear all of these really incredible cases about our daily life. And this year, Ruth went to this court and she said, "I will not stand by and allow women to be treated the way that they are. And I will fight this case all the way to the Supreme Court." And if you look at that illustration, do you see all of those men staring back at her? A court filled with men. The justices, all men. So again, the most important cases went to the Supreme Court. The first time she appeared there, Ruth was so nervous she feared that she might get sick. Oh gosh, that's like, have you ever been so nervous that like your tummy like turns on itself and you're like, oh God, I don't know if I can die. She was very, very, very nervous. But listen, standing before the 9 Supreme Court justices, Ruth imagined them as her students. And I'll be honest here, Ruth could teach these men a thing or two. See, she, Professor Ginsburg, needed to teach these students, who were all men, why a person's choices shouldn't be limited just because she was born a girl. No, your choices should be limited to because of the gender that you were born. So, Ruth wasn't now only fighting for women. When women were excluded from the work world, men were excluded from the home life. I know that's a lot. When women were excluded from the work world, men were excluded from home life. Why shouldn't a father be able to stay home to care for his children and cook the meals? Why shouldn't his wife run the business? Why? These were fresh ideas in the 1970s. Ruth did not win every case, but she won enough. That's a really good lesson. You know, I want to say this. With every victory, women and men and girls and boys enjoyed a little bit more equality. And you know what's really important? Losing. We sometimes learn our greatest lessons in losing so we can figure out how to win. There's so much to learn in losing, and there's so much to win by losing that eventually you win and you conquer and you change people's lives for the better. And that is what Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was doing. With every win and every loss, she was making change for equity and equality. Now, sometimes Ruth and Marty's children received confused looks when they said that their mother argued cases in the Supreme Court and their father made the family dinners. People found this strange, like, what the heck? What the heck? But Ruth, Marty, Jane, and James did not concur. No, they were setting their own example and leading by example. They kept on being the type of family that they wanted to be. And dinners at the Ginsburg home were delicious. Huh. Marty was not only a successful lawyer, but also a marvelous chef who had mastered the art of French cooking. Ooh la la! Bon appetit! Ruth and her family knew that mastered the art of burnt pot roast. Ruth was like, I'll stick to the courtroom. Thank you very much, Marty. Let's make some French food. Hit it, buddy. They made a really good team. That's what's awesome. Ruth and Marty made a wonderful team. And what a great example to give their kids and to the rest of us how to be partners in life in and out of the home. That's wonderful. Now, Ruth became a well-known lawyer, and so well known that President Jimmy Carter chose her to be a judge in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. And Ruth became known as a first-rate judge, and then President Bill Clinton asked her to be a justice on the Supreme Court. Wait, the highest court in the land, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked to be a justice. That's amazing. Along with the 8 other Supreme Court justices, her job would be to decide the most significant cases and answer the most difficult legal questions in the United States. Ruth agreed to accept the job of Supreme Court Justice. In 1993, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg became the first Jewish woman on the nation's highest court. And if you look at this illustration, you can see her family watching on. You can see her family watching on as her husband holds the Bible that she swears her oath on. And you can see behind her, President Bill Clinton. In each case, the Supreme Court considers, after hearing from lawyers who argue for each side, the 9 justices take a vote. The side that gets the most votes wins the case. Now, the justices who agree write an opinion to explain the court's ruling. When Justice Ginsburg votes on the winning side, she wears a special lace collar over her robe. But many times, well, first, before we get to look at this lace collar the justice wears when she agrees with the decision, that's what she would wear when she would agree with the decision. But many times when the Supreme Court announces the decision, it's true, Justice Ginsburg disagrees. And it says, I dissent. The very most famous statement. I dissent, she says. And she writes her own opinion explaining why she dissents. Plus, she wears a very different collar just for dissenting. Can you imagine if you had to change your collar every time you made a choice? Like, I don't know if I'm going to have pizza or a hamburger. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she made a decisive choice to change her collar to reflect her opinion. What an important statement she was making, not only in writing, but physically. She was wearing her choice. I dissent, Justice Ginsburg said when the court wouldn't help women or African Americans or immigrants who had been treated unfairly at work. I dissent when the court rejected a law meant to protect the right of all citizens to vote, no matter the skin color. That's a very important one. I'm going to say that again. I dissent, she said, when the court rejected a law meant to protect all the rights of all citizens to their right to vote, no matter the color of their skin. I dissent, she said, when the court said no to schools that offered African Americans a better chance to go to college. I dissent, she said. I dissent for all of us, she said. Justice Ginsburg can be very convincing. In one dissent, she explained why the court was wrong to rule against women workers who were fighting to get paid the same as men. Congress and the president agreed with her and passed a law to undo the court's ruling. That is major. And if you can see, what do you see in this illustration? I see this woman cheering on all of these people who are marching and standing and voicing their opinion and allowing Justice Ginsburg to also stand and use her voice in the highest court in the land. Now, Justice Ginsburg has disagreed most often with the legal views of Justice Scalia, but they didn't just complain. No. I dissent, he said. She said, no, I dissent. They might have shared conflicting ideas. Each pointed out weaknesses in the other's arguments. And after the opinions were written, you wouldn't believe it. The two justices had fun with each other. They didn't let disagreements about the law get in the way of their friendship. That sounds pretty important to me. It sounds like they learned how to have a conversation and disagree, but still respect one another. That's something that's probably missing a little bit today, and we can learn so very much from. How do we disagree with somebody and still maintain a friendship and be civil and have conversation and grow from each other? Isn't that important too? It's tough during this really difficult time, but what a great lesson to be reminded of, especially in the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You can see they traveled together. They went parasailing in France, and they even rode an elephant in India. Amazing. Now, but an important lesson about this incredible woman that we have just lost. Justice Ginsburg was the oldest member of the Supreme Court. Some people have said that she should have quit because of her age. But Justice Ginsburg begged to differ. She worked as hard as ever before she passed. She exercised in the gym. She never missed a day in court. She attended the opera, gave speeches, and traveled. Many have cheered Justice Ginsburg for her persistence and her independence. They've even called her a rock star, a queen, a goddess, and a hero. Of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg wasn't a rock star, a queen, or a goddess, but to many, she is and will forever be a hero. She made change happen. She changed minds. She cleared a path for people to follow in her footsteps. Girls in college, women in law school, and everyone who wants to be treated without prejudice. Her voice may not have carried a tune, but her voice did sing out for equality. Step by step, she has made a difference. One disagreement after another. And today, at Storytime with Nina, we celebrate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. I have this small opportunity and the small platform to say thank you to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg for making my life incredible and allowing me a platform and a position with which to use my voice and seeing my value and my worth and people like me, our value and our worth. That's a message I want to carry on through my story times and through all of the work that I do. You matter. Everything you do matters. Your voice matters. Who you love matters. The color of your skin matters. You matter. Don't ever lose that in this challenging time. Don't ever be afraid to stand and use your voice. Thank you for joining me for this very special story time with Nina. We have another story on Friday. And to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, thank you.
You are wonderful, you're one of a kind, like a lucky star. You light up my life, so keep on smiling, keep on shining. Go big, be kind, be you. Now sing this to someone you love, someone you think is very special. You are wonderful, you're one of a kind, like a lucky star. You light up my life, so keep on smiling, keep on shining. Go big, be kind, be you. Anytime you're feeling sad and blue, remember you're special, 'cause there's only one you. You are wonderful, you're one of a kind, like a lucky star. You light up my life, so keep on smiling, keep on shining. Go big, be kind, be you. Thank you for singing with me, and always remember just how special you really are. Go big, be kind, be you. Go big, be kind, be you.